Training for Apollo 11 is extremely intensive. You have the training for all the launch phase and all of the aborts that may occur. You had the training for what you were going to do on the surface of the moon, the extravehicular operation. Every phase of the mission.
Only Armstrong and Aldrin will walk on the moon. 8 years, 1 month, and 22 days after John Kennedy challenged America to land a man on the moon, Armstrong, Aldrin, and Collins are ready to fly.
This is Apollo Launch Control, T-minus 3 hours, 4 minutes, 32 seconds, and counting. Right on time as far as the astronaut countdown is concerned. The prime crew now departing from their crew quarters here at the Kennedy Space Center. This is Apollo Launch Control. We're still aiming toward our planned liftoff at the start of the lunar window, 9:32 a.m. Eastern Daylight.
Well, my position in the launch was going to be in the center, with Neil on the left in the commander's position and Mike Collins on the right. But that meant that I would be the last one to be put into the spacecraft.
Astronaut Edwin Aldrin will stand by in the elevator, seated in a chair, while his two comrades first board the spacecraft.
So I had my little air conditioning unit all by myself, and I could look out and see the sun beginning to come up, and I could sort of see the evidence of people out there gathered to watch. I could see them, and they couldn't quite see me, I guess.
Once Armstrong and Collins are aboard, then Aldrin will be called, and he will take the middle seat in the spacecraft. This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. We passed the 6-minute mark in our countdown for Apollo 11, the flight to land of the first men on the moon. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues. Firing command coming in now. We're on an automatic sequence as the master computer supervises hundreds of events occurring over these last few minutes. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6.
Once the spacecraft rockets out of Earth orbit, the moon is a 3-day journey.
These are probably the finest systems engineers at the world. They're all young. Average age was 26. I was the oldest guy that day. I was 36. From the day of our birth, we were meant for this time and place. And today, we will land an American on the moon. Whatever happens here today, I will stand behind every decision you will make. We came into this room as a team, and we will leave as a team.
The first thing, obviously, that we're going to have to do is to undock from the command module.
Roger, how does it look? Go ahead and see. Roger.
And then we rotated around so that Mike could sort of make a quick check of our landing gear.
Listen, Dave, everything's going just swimmingly. Beautiful.
Then the first thing we need to do is establish communication with the Earth.
Houston Eagle, how do you read? Bye-bye, Eagle. We're standing by for your burn report, over. Roger, the burn was on time.
Tempo in the room picks up right as we acquire spacecraft telemetry, and we immediately got problems.
X and Z notes.
We got communications problems you cannot believe.
Columbia, Houston, we've lost all data with Eagle. Please add in reapply on the high gain, over.
We couldn't communicate with the lunar module. Mike Collins could, because he could see him. He could point his antennas at him and talk to him. So what we would do is we would say, Mike, have the crew select a different antenna.
We've lost them. Tell them to go ask Omni, over.
Take Omni Bravo or Omni Delta. Will you roll the spacecraft a little bit for us? He'd roll the spacecraft, we'd get data.
Eagle, Houston, we recommend you yaw 10 right. Will help us on the high gain signal strength, over.
Okay, you should have me now, Houston.
Eagle, we got you now. It's looking good, over.
And at descent minus 5 minutes, I give the go for a powered descent.
You go to continue powered descent. You're a go to continue powered descent.
The descent was very tricky business.
Okay, you should have me now, Houston.
Our plan was to start about 50,000 feet altitude,
Looking good, over.
3,000 miles per hour, to use one continuous rocket burn to decelerate to a hover in the landing area.
Eagle, Houston, everything's looking good here, over.
Throttle up. And I get confirmed throttle, and telemetry drops out again. And I'm back in this ground roll. Do I have enough information to continue the descent or not?
Okay, all flight controllers, go for landing. Retro, go. Fido, go. Guidance, go. Control, go. Telcom, go. GNC, go. Ecom, go. Surgeon, go. Capcom, we're go for landing.
Houston, you're a go for landing, over. Program alarm.
And about that time, radar can begin to pick up range and velocity of the ground beneath us, and it compares that with what the computer thinks it ought to be, and there's a big difference.
Hold on. Our position check downrange to us to be a little off. Roger. 1201.
We go.
Roger, we got you. We're going at alarm. C down at 2.5. 19 forward. Altitude, velocity, light.
Neil had the one thing we did not have. He had the out-the-window view.
13 forward.
He knew whether he was over a safe place to land
200 feet.
or over a boulder field. My job was to tell him how much fuel he had.
47 degrees. Roger.
When we got to about 100 feet, the low-level light came on, and Charlie Duke gave us a call of 60 seconds.
Simple call, Eagle, 60 seconds.
60 seconds.
We better get on the ground pretty soon.
He had 60 seconds to land, and after that 60 seconds, it would be aboard.
Down 2.5.
I didn't want to disturb Neil's concentration because I knew he was really working that problem.
2.5. Picking up some dust.
And now the crew is kicking up some dust, so we know they're darn close to the surface, but they were scooting pretty fast across it last time we heard.
4 forward, drifting to the right a little.
We used most of our remaining fuel finding a relatively level and smooth landing spot.
Down a half. 30 seconds.
We had 30 seconds to land. I mean, it was deathly silent. Now, I don't think he was going to actually abort. I mean, that wouldn't have been the right stuff.
Contact light. Okay, engine stop. ATA at a descent.
I looked over at him, and he looked at me, and there was not a great emotion, but there was a smile of satisfaction on both of our faces. And
We shook hands.
413 is in. We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
That you finally can say we just landed on the moon. We hit the moon with 17 seconds of fuel remaining.
Houston, this is Neil. Radio check. Neil, this is Houston. Loud and clear.
Inside the LEM, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin suit up for the most remarkable extravehicular activity of all time. The first EVA on the moon.
Break. Buzz, this is Houston. Radio check and verify TV circuit breaker in. Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. Very, very fine grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder.
The marvel of it all, the miracle of it all. My God, we not only landed the moon, we're getting ready to go out and walk.
I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And look at those guys, you're a bunch of kids seeing something for the first time and you're pointing at these things. And it's like just a joyous ride where you hope that the the ride will never end, that you'll never have to get off.